Our next guest says that while the media will be reflexively anti-Trump, they'll not have their reliable Mueller stories to obsess over. In fact, they might have to confront some hard truths about what really happened with these new investigations coming to fruition. Victor Davis Hanson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institute, joins us now. Victor, good to have you back. Okay, you have some big predictions about what stories will dominate ahead of the 2020 election. Tell us.
Well, I think the Mueller story is pretty much through, Laura, and it's kind of like a boomerang effect that now we're going to see that the people who were instrumental in subverting the Trump campaign transition, indeed the presidency, are going to be called to account. So we heard the walls are closing in, the noose is tightening, but it's going to act in reverse. So Comey, Brennan, McCabe, Bruce Orr and his wife, they're all facing either criminal referrals or likely criminal referrals. And this is going to be a slow, drawn-out process all the way to the 2020 elections. And then when you see, you mentioned the good economy, that's something that Trump needs to focus, I think, even more on. But the two areas in the news cycle where he might be vulnerable, we've had 1 million illegal aliens coming just in half a year. There's no alternative from the Democrats. I mean, he wanted to shut down the government, and he did, to stop illegal immigration. He wanted to put a tariff, and he would have, on Mexico. So he's doing all he can. So that's not going to be an issue for the Democrats, because they can't say, well, we would stop immigration because they want more of it illegally. And then finally, we've got a big annual deficit, and Trump might be vulnerable there, but the Democrats are not. They don't have a reputation for physical sobriety. So areas where Trump might be vulnerable, they're not. They can't. They offer no alternative.
Yeah, they're just going to be worse on
reparations.
They're going to be worse on all. They're going to be worse on the border. They're going to be worse on spending. They're going to be worse on all those things that he might be vulnerable on in another type of election. I have to get to this. ABC released part of a George Stephanopoulos exclusive interview with President Trump, and it's getting wall-to-wall coverage on the networks. Take a look.
If foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
You want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it. If I thought there was something wrong, I'd go maybe to the FBI if I thought there was something wrong.
Victor, setting aside the question of why you would have George Stephanopoulos standing over the president in the Oval Office, I don't know who approved that. But what about this notion of accepting foreign intel about an opponent? Is that a risk for President Trump getting pulled back into Mueller? Again, why he was put in that situation is beyond me.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. You shouldn't ever talk to George Stephanopoulos, one. And two, any question about foreign intelligence, that should be the end of the conversation, because it can be manipulated and distorted. What Trump was probably saying, I think he intended to say something like Adam Schiff, who got fooled, remember, by those Russian comedians that called him up and said, I've got dirt, and Adam Schiff seemed very eager to hear it. That's what Trump might say, and we hear all these politicians hear this type of stuff from all sources, but I think the cardinal rule is, in Trump's case, you don't even discuss that. You just say, I don't want to talk about it, or I'm not interested in it.
He seems like he's playing Victor with Stephanopoulos there a little bit. I mean, he joked about it when he said, Russia, get Hillary's emails. I mean, that was obviously a Trump joke. But again, putting him in that situation, I don't get it. Victor, we're out of time. Thank you so much. It's great to have you back.